Loading into Star Citizen for the first time can be daunting for the best of us. With no inbuilt tutorial missions or much information to get you started, getting into orbit around Stanton can be a challenge. Hopefully, in this video, I'll be able to guide you through some of the initial setup covering the tools available to make things a little easier. Once you've set your primary residence to Lorville, you will be looking at a very similar screen to me. To get out of bed, press and hold Y. Right, we're up and out of bed. We need to find our way down to the elevators in order to get somewhere we can get some proper armour on and get ourselves off of Hurston and into orbit. What we do, we walk toward the door and then look at the pad with open written on it. To open your personal inner thought, push F and hold F and you'll get the little cursor icon that you see here. Click on where it says open and the door will open. That is how we kind of interact with anything within Star Citizen, is pushing and holding F. That will then allow you to click on anything you need to do. So now we're at the elevator, we're going to do the same thing and call the elevator up to us. Once the elevator arrives, we're going to be heading down to the ground floor. We're on the ground floor here on Lorville, and when exiting Lorville and looking for the train station, a key thing that I find is just keep going left. So you see over there it says Testra Spaceport. That's where we want to be heading, inevitably. That's the aim, because that's where we can retrieve our ship and get up into space. So as we walk through Lorville, I'm using WAS and D to move around here. To run, hold shift, and your character will run and move forward a bit quicker. You can hit space, which will jump, but there's not many times outside of kind of missions and kind of going across different terrain that you're going to need to do any jumping. To crouch, similar, again, used in missions, is control. And then if you want to go prone, then you hold X.
Transfers to the perimeter, spaceport, and industry lines.
If you want to see what your character's doing, you can hit F4, and you can see a third-person view of your character. If you hold Z, it's going to let you look around when you move the mouse. And then obviously when you let go of Z, it's going to keep you in that position. Obviously moving my mouse is now moving my character rather than moving the camera. Holding Z again will allow me to kind of reset that back to where I want it to be. And I can continue on. F4 again will put me back into first-person view. So we want to be heading to the spaceport. The perimeter line will take us to the kind of shopping precinct and that area on Lorville, which we're not worried about doing at the moment. Our main focus is to the spaceport. So we're looking for the blue line. So we continue on our journey.
Welcome to Metro Center. Transfers to the perimeter, spaceport, and industry lines.
We get another sign onto the left for blue and right for red. One thing Star Citizen is pretty good at is following signs. There'll be signs to everything you need to go to. So getting into the habit of stopping and reading these signs will be really useful. So we've just missed the train, so you can see we've got another 19 seconds before that train will arrive. Now the train's arrived and the doors are opened, we get on. And it will tell us, again, at the top of the screen there, you can see the time in which it's going to take this train to leave. And then once we leave, it will tell us how long it will take us to get to our next stop. So we're now following the signs to exit when I'm not running into a barrier. Again here, we could go over to the green line, which will take us to the Commerce and Central Business District, but we want to head up to the spaceport, so we're going through customs. Now we're coming through customs. These terminals you'll see dotted around different stations and planets. They're really useful. If you get a fine for anything, then you can log into these terminals here, and they will tell you if you've got a fine. I don't have a fine, so I can just log out. And kind of S to back away, and we can carry on. So we're now coming up into the main spaceport area of Lorville. This is the 9 times out of 10 when you come to Lorville, this is where you'll be coming. And you can do various things in here. Before we request a ship and do any of that, just very quickly, you can see I've got a chat window on my left hand side of my screen here. If I hit F12, that will make that disappear. Equally, I can put F12 again, and that will bring that up, and then hitting enter will start allowing me to type. Now I can switch between which chat groups I'm talking through by hitting tab on the keyboard, which is allowing me to, as I say, change those chat groups. So if I was in a party, I'd be able to change that without having to go into the F1 menus, which I'll show you a bit later on. And then to come out again, push enter by the number pad on your keyboard, and that will close that chat window. So we've come to the spaceport, we've got on the train, and we're now thinking we want to get off into space and go and explore. Now how do we do that? We've got these yellow terminals, which are called ASOP terminals, and these are where you can request your ships. So again, we're going to hold F and click on the screen.
Welcome to the ASOP vehicle
and you get the list of ships that you've got available to you to access. If they're in the area you're in, you can hit retrieve. If they're not in the area you're in, you can hit on any one of them, and it will then tell you how long it will take for that ship to be delivered to this area. Now that time period can be shortened by hitting expedite, which is the next button that pops up here. However, that will cost you credits. So in the short term, I would advise against that and just use the ships you've got available to you.
Welcome. Goodbye.
So we're going to go back in, and
vehicle
we're going to
retrieval
request
system.
my Pisces, which is
Vehicle
on
selected.
this planet, so it's easy for me to get to.
Your vehicle has
This is
been
telling me to go to
delivered
Hangar
the following
9.
locations. Please
To get to
visit us
Hangar 9,
again.
I'm going to come away from the
Goodbye.
ASOP terminals, and I'm going to look for the elevators. So again, you want to be looking at the signs, and you can see up there it says elevators to hangars. So I know that I need to be going this way. And as I say, I want to go to Hangar 9. So as we're going through, we're going to get to the elevator, hold F again, call the elevator, enter the elevator, and then we want to select on this little panel here, Hangar 9. As we exit the elevator, we'll come through and you can see your ship in the hangar bay here. Now every ship you access and get on board slightly differently, but for the Pisces, the way we do that is there's a little ramp access on the back here. Hold F, click on the button, and you'll see the ramp opening. You can enter on board. Whenever you enter or exit your ship on Star Citizen, it's always good to close the ramp behind you. If you don't do that, other players that aren't in your party can get on board and kind of reap havoc with you. So best thing to do is when you get on your ship, just close up the ramps there from there. Now we enter my ship, and you see everything is off. Nothing is working. The way you turn your ship on is you can hit R on your keyboard, and that will just turn your kind of power on and get things going. And then when you hit I, that will engage your engines. Now, we can't just take off. And the reason for that is you can see the hangar doors above me are closed. If we took off now, we would explode as we hit those. So there's a couple of things you need to do. Right, we're going to open what's called the Moby Glass by hitting F1. And that will bring up just a standard image of kind of your situation and your health, any money you've got, if you've got any crime stats, and anything else there you need to know. Along here, we've got various different tabs along the bottom. Now these all do different things. So, first of all, Comlink, your kind of global chat of what's being said in the server and all the list of players on that server on the right hand side. You can see what parties you're in or groups you're in, and then obviously the ship that we're in here. If you click on friends, you can see the list of your friends that you've got in game. But more importantly, where it says Lorville Landing Services, this is what we want to click. That is going to contact kind of air traffic control and ask for permission to leave. You've just heard there the kind of response I got was you're clear to launch. That's given me access to leave the space station or leave the planet and take it off. Along the bottom we've got Vehicle Loadout Manager, which we'll come to in a later video. We've got Knickknacks, which will tell you if you've got anything stored in any other station. this would be where you find it. We've got the star map. So as we come onto the star map now, we want to set a route to where we're going. So we are already going to do a short little flight today. We're going to go up to Everest Harbour, which is the space station orbiting above Hurston. So to get into that, we'll go to Hurston, which is the planet we're on now. You can see a little green triangle flashing. That's indicating where I am. Double click on the planet and that will bring up the system. So we can see all the moons. We've got Eta, Aberdeen, Ariel and Magda. If we scroll into Hurston, the planet, we're going to see lots of different points pop up on the map. So there are different areas on the planet that we can go and visit or travel to. You've got a comm array there. And then just above the big circle there, that's Lorville, that's the capital of the planet. We've got a little space station. So double click on that and you see this is Everest Harbour. Click there and set route. So you see up at the top left here, Everest Harbour is showing up as our destination. We've got Mo Trader on the bottom there. That is how we transfer money to each other. If anyone was going to transfer money or you were going to send someone money for something, this would be where you'd do it. We've got the Contracts Manager, which I'll come on to in a later video. And we've got the Maintenance. So the Maintenance here allows us to repair the ship and refuel the ship and restock it with whatever we might need to. All from these terminals when you're landed on any pad in the game.
Is at 100%.
Always worth doing when you're getting low on fuel or you're getting a bit damaged. You've then got your journal and your relationships managers, which we'll come on to at a later point. But the main things to think of when you're just getting into the game and wanting to fly off is going to Comlink, Friends, and looking for the landing services of the area you're in, and then clicking on the little arrow button to contact them. Double checking your skyline to make sure you've got a route set as to where you want to be going, and then looking at your vehicle maintenance and services and making sure everything is repaired and refueled where it needs to be. We can then click on the X, and we are ready to leave. To take off and you're flying with a keyboard, what you need to do is push space, and the space bar will give you vertical lift. We're now out of the hangar, so we want to be pushing N, which will lower our landing gear. W, A, S and D will move us forward and sideways. Your mouse will help you change your pitch and elevation as to where you're going. So we're now climbing, as you can see on the right hand side, our altitude's going up. We need to get to about 10,000 metres in order to be out of the atmosphere and be able to fast travel. If I want to increase the speed we're moving, I can scroll up on the mouse wheel, which is going to increase my velocity on the right hand side. And I can also hit shift, which is going to use a boost to make us go that bit faster. One thing to remember to do though is to one, not use the boost until you're in the red. So once you're getting lower, now we are, we'll release the boost and let that come back up. And then I've released the W now because we don't need to be moving forward anymore, but I'm also going to bring the little square down on our velocity. That's our speed limiter. So if I don't have that scroll all the way up, when I hit W, my speed's only going to go as far as that square. It's not going to go beyond that. That's important because I don't want to be shooting off into the distance, and equally, when you are in the red on that velocity meter, your handling is much worse. We're now going to hit B, which spools up our quantum drive. This will make travelling quicker for us. And it will allow us to essentially warp into an area. You can see that to the left of the screen I've got a little blue arrow, and that's telling me that the destination that I've set, I need to be going toward that blue arrow to go there. So we can see a little square now, and that is to Everest Harbour. And our spooling is completed on the quantum drive, but the calibration is setting for Everest, and that's now ready, and we're going to hold B, and that's going to put me into quantum drive. We are now in orbit above Everest Harbour. So you can use Q and E to amend your rotation if you need to, but we're 24 kilometres out, so we're going to need to close that distance, because in order to call ATC you need to be within 10 kilometres of Everest Harbour. As we move toward the station, let us increase a little bit more velocity and just clear that distance a little bit quicker. So now we're moving quite quickly. There's a few things I can do. If I hit S, that's going to do reverse thrusters, and if I hold X at the same time, my space brake's going to deploy and allow me to slow down much more quickly than I would otherwise. So now I'm doing that. You see my speed was dropped. Equally, I can push C, which is a bit like autopilot or cruise control, which will bring my speed up to that square and keep it consistent without having to hold the W key. To take that off, because we're getting close, I can hit C again, and that's going to bring us down to 0. So we're now stopped stationary because we are within 10 kilometers, and in order to call ATC, I can go again to F1, Comlink, Friends, Everest Harbour, click on the little arrows.
Please proceed to assigned landing
And that
bay.
has now assigned me a landing bay. So if I hit B, I don't need my quantum drive anymore. I can see a little downward arrow with a circle, and that's where we want to be heading, because that is going to be our landing bay. Good time now to push N and get our landing gear back out.
Landing gear deployed.
And you can hear there the confirmation that the landing gear has now been deployed. So you can see the landing bay opening up there, getting ready for us to arrive. To lose altitude, we want to hit control, and we're going to slowly lose some more altitude. At this point, it's usually nicer to hit F4. We can get a really good image of where we are above the landing bay, as you can see. I come down. We're going to rotate round slightly just so I can see what we're doing. And you can see I'm doing that with the mouse here. Come in now, and we're just going to land nice and gently on the pad.
Landing complete. Have a pleasant stay.
Now we've landed, I'm going to turn off the engines,
Engines
hold
offline.
Y to get out of the chair, and exit the ship. Now to go and find the elevator and get ourselves up to the lobby to store the ship. And that ship will be based here at Everest Harbour. So call here with a hold F and click on the call elevator button. Elevator's here, and then we want to go to the lobby. Once we're here, you'll see we're at the ASOP terminals, similar to what we had down on Lorville. We can open up
Welcome
those.
to the ASOP vehicle
And
retrieval
you'll see now
system.
we've got a store option in order to store the ship. That just means it's not clogging the bay, no one else needs to worry about being in the way, or we don't need to worry about being in the way of anyone else, and we can just make sure the ship's all here, and then when we want to use it we can retrieve it again.
Please visit us again.